4, 3, 2. Damn it! I always go the wrong freaking direction. Hello, everyone. The time is 6:10 p.m. EST on October 6th. I'm so sorry for popping you right as we start on the stream. This is what you get for drinking an energy drink at 6 in the afternoon.
Oh
My
my
name
god.
is Chris Kennard, aka your Princess of Port Richmond, aka K Stackle, aka the firstborn of Ham. May he rest in peace. I am joined ever always by my beloved brother, collaborator, inspiration, Aelor, aka Arkantel, aka Orain and C, aka the living abstraction himself. My friend, it's been 3 months since we were last here. How do you feel this afternoon?
Geez, man.
Oh, geez, Rick.
October is here. October is here.
Happy spoopy
People.
season.
Yeah, I gotta admit, it's October 6th, and I was like, dang, man, I've been slack. I haven't been completely slacking and bringing in the Halloween spirit because I've definitely been like reading up on some spooky stuff here and there. But it's like I ain't been watching no horror movies, man. I had to, like,
For shame.
I haven't even been like it took me till yesterday to even start like rocking some hex goals and stuff like that. I was like, dang, man, I've been
Don't they only have like
slacking.
one song, fam?
Well, one best known one. They technically, the thing is, because I like collect a bunch, because I've collected my share of Scooby Doo stuff. Like
Of course, yes.
I have the entire, like, I have those 4 direct to video movies that you guys all remember: Zombie Island, Witches Ghost, Alien Invaders, and Cyber Chase. I got all those on DVD. I
As you do.
also have the entire Mystery Incorporated series. To anyone who remembers,
What year did that come out?
the 2010s. It's the one.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the one where like they couldn't say she was back. They couldn't say she was. When the show was going on.
What are you talking
But
about?
it's the one where Velma. It's the one where Velma goes from being in a romantic relationship with Shaggy to like kind of
Oh,
hooking
it's the one
up
where
with
she's
it.
gay.
Yeah, that one. That
Got
one.
it.
Yeah, that one. The one where it's like even in 2013, I knew what they were obviously trying to do, but it's like, oh, yo, it's 2013 and you're on Cartoon Network. They're
Right.
probably
And we
not
still have in the
gonna.
Steven Universe. Yeah.
Yeah. Adventure Time. Look, y'all.
Oh yeah,
Before
Bableen.
Adventure Time and Steven Universe were able to do that, like like these writers had to like
Ink
hide
and on.
this. Yeah. So I got that. I got that show. So I should probably like really get on watching that. Oh, I also got my Until Dawn video game, man. I got to play that Until Dawn, man. Yo, I mean,
Yes, you do. Get fully in the
so
spirit. I've been there's a friend of mine who's a single mom, and she and her kid, they be hanging out, like playing games, watching television. And I'm like, yo, have you heard of Over the Garden Wall? And she's like,
uh
no, I never heard of it. And I'm like, yo, I think y'all might watch that every year, every Halloween, if the little homie likes it. So we recently like linked back up because she's on like the part-time rotation. I'm like, yo, what do you think? And she's like, well, I love it. And I'm like, let's go. Like we're sharing recipes, you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
In addition to like autumn finally being here. I don't know, just to like get all like the big stuff out of the way right away. Tomorrow is the 1 year anniversary of the siege on Palestine. And I guess we'll get like the calls to action out of the way now so we can chat.
Yeah,
If you're concerned about any like global catastrophe happening in the world right this minute, you can go to the description of this stream. You can go to rescue.org. You can learn about any of like the 14 like huge catastrophes happening overseas and abroad. And usually I just like to say this to like the end of the show, but I would like to state for the record that here at Ken Mide presents, Ken Mide Productions, what have you, he and we stand with the nations of Yemen, the Democratic Republic of the Congo, Ethiopia, Niger, Somalia, Mali, Myanmar, Burkina Faso, Darfur, South Sudan, Ghana, Hawaii, Bangladesh, Lebanon, and Palestine. So, free Palestine. We're not free till all of us are free.
Indeed. And,
also, I guess, wear a mask over your nose, under your mouth, because COVID's still out here, and getting COVID is a real nightmare. So protect yourselves, protect your neighbors, protect your family, protect the children, protect the elderly, protect the immunocompromised. Stay hydrated, drink water, and please know that your friendly co-hosts, we love you in the most platonic way possible. Once you're done hanging out with us, we'll be here for the next 2 hours, no doubt. Go, take a piss break. Go floss, go brush your teeth, put on some makeup, whatever you like to do. Look yourself dead in the eye. Oh, wait, that's the word.
Mm-hmm.
And say, I love you to yourself. Loving yourself isn't always easy, but hate isn't the answer, especially self-hate. One last thing before we get into our grand finale, as it were. My beloved co-host has the opportunity of a lifetime, in the sense that where he currently is may not be where he may be next year. And since my beloved Aelor graduated with his bachelor's degree, finding the next big vocation has been a tad difficult, would you say, sir? So I've taken it upon myself to make my beloved co-host a contractor of sorts. And just to make sure people don't think I'm BSing, I'm going to get the evidence. Give me just a moment.
Yeah. And even as Kennard himself is gathering the evidence, him and I have been in consistent communication over certain things, and I've made it very clear that I appreciate his support, and things are kind of up in the air at the moment. There are things I'm still trying to solve here and there, but moving forward, I am in the process of
Going overseas.
Going. But these things take time,
and money.
You're pre-planning when it comes to possibly doing some stuff outside internationally. You're not just planning. You're not just planning. You're pre-planning the planning. And all that.
Backup plan to the backup plan. Shout out, big boy.
Yeah, exactly. So so more details definitely to come. But yeah, that's a direction. That's one of the many possible directions that you will be seeing from me come next year. But let Chris tell it.
Listen, if I had things my way, I would have Aelor in my city, and we take over like we would take over block by block. No Matt and Kim. But in the meantime, this right here is a greeting card. And in the greeting card, I have some of that chatteroni. You smell me? Because my dear Aelor does not have faith in these flimsy platforms like Venmo, Zelle, Cash App. What if something goes wrong? And I respect that cautious paranoia in these platforms. Therefore, I rely on the good old snail mail. And for the next 4 streams, I'm sending him some of that dough so he can prepare to go wherever he needs to be. So if you'd like to help, if you enjoyed all the streams we've done together, feel free to send something in the link in the description. I believe it's as obvious as can be. I wanted to make sure I showed it on camera so you don't think I'm trying to scam the homie. This is like my relations, okay?
Yeah.
Like he's gonna be in my life for as long as possible. So
Yeah.
hey, shout out Seattle. Thank you for
Oh,
joining us today.
yo, all
I'll
up.
be sure to
Yeah.
link your art page in the comments when the stream like goes up. So I appreciate you for joining us today for as long as you can be. Nah, but for real, if you don't end up going where you're going, I'm gonna talk about my plans. Screw it. Like I'm coming back to the hometown like around your birthday if you're still here, so we can celebrate in style. Maybe do a live stream. Who knows? And if not, I know that this summer usually I like to travel on my birthday. I think this year, instead of like going somewhere and staying with the homies, I'm gonna go to Jersey to interview this band that I like if they're not already on tour. I'm not going to blow up the spots. I'm not going to name them, but if you're curious, hit my DMs. I'll tell you my intentions so you can check out the music and check out their latest album and some merch and stuff like that. All these things to be discussed in the near future. It's good to be back. It's been 3 months. This is the fourth quarter, our final installment of the Superb 16. Our look at just, in our opinion, neglected and looked over music that may or may not have like cracked the top like 25 on like pop radio of the specific genres. In the past, we discussed artists like A Tribe Called Quest, Mide Jordan, After the Burial, Killswitch Engage, Anderson .Paak, Solange, De La Soul, Little Dragon, Chance the Rapper. But today, we're going to discuss the following for artists. We have the Avalanches, we have Gallant, we have Lion Babe, and we have, I think it's pronounced Han or Hani.
Yeah, I believe I always used to pronounce it like Han.
I'm gonna say Han, and that's HONNE, not like Han Solo, that nerf herder.
Yeah.
You know, as I was re-listening to these songs, and please forgive me for like being a bit of a flip flop on the track list. I want to go last. Is that okay? Can we start with your stuff?
Yeah, you know, and the thing is, it's like I realized, especially like going from mine to yours, and I'll probably cop to this tendency of mine later on in the stream. I was like, especially with like, okay, which granted I made sure to not pull a repeat of 2013 and then end the playlist on a complete downer, like when I had like Childish Gambino down last with like Telegraph Ave, and that's
I don't think that was a buzzkill. Do you? I don't.
like, okay, well, it was definitely kind of reflecting a state of mind I had at that time.
I was probably there. I was probably in that same kind of headspace. So don't kick yourself too hard in that regard, fam.
So okay, so you know, so like okay, but so I realized that, you know, the Avalanche track that I picked, that I stand by in my love for, and looking forward to going in full depth on it.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of a downer. I admit it.
I don't think so. Like I know the songs we're discussing today. I don't feel that way. But just a little inside baseball for the audience. Like when we talk privately, I'm like, hey, homie, you want to get on stream? Like, what day you want to do it? Like, and my good boy was like, I don't know. Can we just like discuss your records and not mine? And I'm like, no, what do you mean? And the good homie was like, my thoughts have changed about the music since like we assembled like this set list like months ago at this point.
Yeah, no, we've been on this since literally this time last year. Like we've been,
God.
Yeah, like bro, it goes back that. So, and here's the thing, and the thing is, in that time, like so much of us we've had to like, even though I stand by everything I said by like if had we done like Majid Jordan last year, like I knew I would have mentioned Drake, but we would not
Not
have
in the
been in.
same context that we had to this year. I understand what you mean.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So and that was so and like so that was kind of because I was like thinking because I was thinking, dang, you know, when I talk about these two songs, it's like especially with Good Together, like even though the love is very much still the same, but it's like I think how I would have approached it had we done it like even like the original day we were planning on it, because unfortunately, because you know I had to deal with
Life got in the
some.
way. I understand.
Yeah, yeah. Like, but by the time that thing got done, I was like, yo, I have a way different, I have a way different understanding of this track now because of like having to go and deal with that situation over there. And it's like, and even with with Saturday Night, that was always with the Avalanches track. That was always going to be kind of a tricky thing with me because in a way I did feel like, you know, I was gonna kind of the same way with like Zach Brown band, and talking about Chris Cornell and
Yeah.
just that kind of trickiness. I was like, I knew I was gonna end up being in that same boat with that Avalanche track. But then I also kind of had to be honest with myself, like, okay, yeah, there's now the tricky context of the way it now exists in now. But it's like, how do I balance that with what it had always meant for me when I first heard it? Because, you know, thankfully, well, I'll go into more details on that later. But
Mm.
so I was just kind of like, all right, you know, because I could have just poker face been like, yo, the track's dope, Avalanches forever, you know, RIP to RIP and all that stuff. I was like, dang, you know, how am I, yeah, you know, spoiler, I guess, you know, for anyone.
Yeah.
But
Actually, before you go any further, I dare
yeah,
say we should do Avalanches first, Honey second. And while you've been chatting, I got because now like the thing that I do now when we record together is that I go on Genius because I imagine whatever questions you can't answer that website can. And like
yeah,
the whole time I'm listening to Saturday Night Inside Out. Am I saying it right? Yeah, Saturday
yeah,
Night Inside
Saturday,
Out. Um,
yeah.
I hear it, and the first thing in my mind is like, bro, is that freaking Mordecai from Regular Show? And no, it's David Berman. And he was part of the band Silver Jews. And
Mhm.
I just like to take a moment and read the spoken word from the song. Like it's spliced throughout the track.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
but and according to like the website, this song, like the spoken lyrics were part of a demo that came out 4 years prior to this song coming out. The song that the demo was called "A Cowboy Overflow of the Heart," and I love just the way that sounds. But I just want to
Mhm.
read these words real quick, and I guess you can just like provide context for just like the decision that you made in regards to choosing the Avalanches, because I know you're one of their biggest fans, and there aren't a lot of
Yeah.
people who just like mark out, as wrestlers say, to like the Avalanches. So David Berman
Yeah.
writes, "We inaugurate the evening, just drumming up a little weirdness. It gets so late early now. I'm sorry,
Mhm.
it gets late so early now. The waves come in mountain phases. I'd see fire where it's not supposed to be. I first saw her in a mega store, the day glow raven born into a free fall, the fulfillment of a 10th grade prophecy, a Motel masterpiece, blind to the branching possibilities. Teardrops were standing in my eyes like deer before they bolt." One second.
Mhm.
Yeah. Last stanza reads, "I adored the way she modified my mornings when I'd wake up in the calm shoals of her bed, somersaults or smoke in a universe of sleep, before she slipped into her heritage and disappeared. and she taught me how to relight, and relight again. Just a moment, Mister. Speak.
Okay. Well, first of all, thank you so much for not only reading that the entire lyrics because you did that. That means I don't have to, and I appreciate you. So I appreciate that so much. And my fondness for the Avalanches is not something I've ever made a secret to Chris. In fact, in case you guys thought I was going to talk about the Avalanches and not mention the fact that, yes, I do in fact own this album on vinyl.
Surprising no one.
Yeah, in case you guys thought I was not going to let you guys know that, you guys were sorely mistaken. And yes, this is the album. Very kaleidoscopic, very much filled, very much embracing on their on the plunderphonic psychedelic tone of the album, as well as, by the way, this cover, the Avalanches are Australian, but this cover is their loving homage to Sly and the Family Stones. There's a riot going on, which
Respect.
so just to put all that into perspective. But the weird thing about the Avalanche, I guess the funny thing about the Avalanches is that, in spite of my fondness for that album, Wildflower, the album that I just showed you guys, which was their second album, their sophomore album, and their first album after 16 years, when their debut album, Since I Left You, came out, which is very, I know we mentioned
Fucking classic.
Yeah, and I know I mentioned it a bunch in one of our 21 streams, because I put a reissue. I put a brand new track when they reissued it.
With Doom.
With Doom, and that album, it is a classic. It's often, it's kind of seen as the Australian answer to DJ Shadow's Introducing, a comparison
100%.
that is completely earned. And yet Wildflower always kind of stuck with me a tad bit more. Like, for one thing, the jam's just jam. I mean, the one thing that Wildflower had that, Since I Left You, the original version, didn't really have is, well, it didn't have a bunch of noteworthy collaborations. Camp Low. You have Camp Low. Well, okay, it's not. I think it's Sony Chiba of Camp Low on the first Because I'm Me, the opening track. You have Danny Brown. You have Danny Brown on Frankie Sinatra. You have Tori Moore on, if Pope was a folk star, and you had these things that, okay, I don't know, maybe you could call it the DJ Khaled-fication of the Avalanches, which I don't completely disagree. I don't completely
disagree with. Who's that guy who got Kele and MNDR on the same song?
I know Martin Solveig. I think Martin Solveig, the guy ready to go.
No, Martin Solveig. He did get him on. He got Pele by himself. But that one guy who plays bass, he did that amazing fun remix.
Shoot. I think I know what you're talking about, but I
RAC. It was freaking RAC.
Yeah, so. And a whole bunch of collabs on this album, collabs on their follow-up album, which I like. I think it's very respectful in its own right. But will admit, Wildflower just struck a major chord with me, and because this is something we've been doing, I keep on finding myself doing. I'm gonna have to do another episode of What the Hell Does Fantano Know? Because when I did my research on this album, would you you know, which he did like. I think he gave it like what, an eight,
I'll go
seven,
check.
eight, 7, 8. But when you look at and while I don't think he even really talks about it that much. If you look when he says least favorite track, it is Saturday Night Inside Out. And okay, and the thing that commonly gets kind of said about the Wildflower album is that it's such a good. Oh, yeah, 7. Okay. So it's like, oh, it's such a good time album. There's no cynicism in this album. It's so earnest in its joyful psychedelic love and, and bliss. And Saturday Night Inside Out is probably the final track is that moment where, yeah, that sense of bliss is there, but and courtesy of Mr. David Berman, it's like the one time where the album really tries to be a tad bit bittersweet. And David Berman, who was very much known for his kind of sardonic yet tad bit melancholic delivery when he was working with Silver Jews, and when he would end up working with his follow-up band, who would actually release some stuff shortly after, which I'll talk about later. You know, these lyrics that Chris has already mentioned, you can definitely sense that sense of bittersweet longing for a past that has gone by. And while in the original demo version, which has way more lyrics, because yeah, they did kind of cut some stuff out. In the original demo, it's made very clear that he's talking about a dog. He's
I
talking
had
about a
no
dog.
idea.
Yeah. Like it's like he makes it very clear, like, oh hey, you were the greatest dog. You were the greatest dog ever. Well, yeah. Hey, I sure loved my dog, but with this more modified version that we heard, it's
Heavy
very
sheet.
much yeah, it's very much like, you can say it's a bit ambiguous, but it's very much supposed to be about a woman. And you
That's
know,
what I thought.
yeah. And I feel like I would argue that's what the Avalanches want you to think, because while you're hearing Berman's very calm, melancholic delivery, like, and this is what I think is the great strength of this song. The great strength of this song. The Avalanches are like, it's like it's like it's competing with the Avalanches, these luscious harmonies that the Avalanches are just like, if anything, they are trying to have it fight with Berman's lyrics for what you pay more attention, end up paying more attention to. And
Love how they mesh.
yeah, exactly. And you hear, and it's like, and it becomes a song where it's like, while David is recalling these things in a very bittersweet tone, the Avalanche it's like you are hearing that blissful past that he is trying to recall. At the same time, that he has this sense of reflection on it. And and I would say it's one of those things that ends up because you have these two things here, it's probably maybe one of the most organic, I'd say, more organic, attempts at recalling those kind of memories of being so young, and you know being so young, and coming to grips of what you of love and affection. And I cannot attest to I have no memories of ever waking up in a motel room any with any said person of affection, but um
That is young.
yeah, but but I can tell you my memories of being at a supermarket and bumping into someone who, whatever my feelings were for that time, it definitely made a day when I was in a supermarket go from completely ordinary to a day that I can still remember now. And grant, I was not in 10th grade when that happened. I was in ninth grade. I was in ninth
Oof,
grade.
even worse.
Yeah, and I guess now, like, kind of being at a different point in my life, and just certain people, and obviously, as of now, we've all kind of moved on from our life, from that time in our lives so much. And it's like, and it is and it's and I think that's what makes a song like this so special, because it really does play on memory, and how, even in this kind of like whatever moment, it's like we're now attaching it to this new sense of meaning and significance. And what did this moment mean for me in the long term? What does what what why does a well once again, the Avalanches definitely want you to think it's about a woman. You can literally hear a lot of like chances, and like kind of like what you could imagine the dialogue would have been between these people at that time. You can literally hear it all over the track. And it's like, what you know the hold this person had on me. And what does that say about the person? What does that say about me? I adored the way she modified my mornings. And waking up, and this person that you end up thinking about. And I can definitely and I can definitely, waking up, and that joy of wanting to see that person. And a person who has obviously moved on with their lives, but a person who, like, there's always going to be that bittersweetness, along, mix and mixed with emotion. And it was always such a fascinating time listening to this song, because back when I was working my now former job, and I would have to head home very, very, very early in the morning. I'm talking
Ass
like,
crack of dawn.
yeah, basic, yeah. I'm literally seeing the dawn. I'm literally seeing the dawn open as I'm on a bus trying to get home. That
Yeah.
that was how that was what that job put me through. It was what it was, but that's what it put me through. You know, and the many times I would listen to this song, and just like how, when you're on a bus, when you're on a bus at that time of the day, at that time of the day, and coming from the job I was working for at that time, your mind is constantly wandering, and you're kind of constantly thinking about, where the past went, and where the past and present collide. And something I think that this song brilliantly captures. And David Berman was, it's unfortunate to kind of speak of him in the past tense, because when I was listening to this song, Mr. Berman was very much still around, and much like the hope I had when Chris Cornell did Heavy as the Head with Zach Brown Band. I was like, yo, David Berman, he's about to like start dropping some new stuff. Yo, David, man, the people, because
The
David was,
streets need this.
yeah. And Dave, after Silver Jews broke up, David, kind of kept it low key. And I was like, yeah, and with this out that's coming, and I knew that they recorded this demo since like way back in the 2000s or early, like I knew it was old, but I wanted to believe, like, yeah, having it come out now, this can kind of finally be a push for us to hear more David. And we did. And we did. And then very shortly after,
We lost
in
him.
a, yeah, yeah. And that last record he did with Purple Mountain, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. Those you know, those David was very honest about where he was at that point in his life. That's all. But to kind of connect back with the Avalanches, a song that David wrote on that Purple Mountain album, on the song Darkness and Cold, the Avalanches, in honor of him, they would take that line, and on their next album, "We Will Always Love You," that line gets kind of repeated all throughout the album,
Hmm.
and then there's but it is made even more significant on the song "Running Headlights," the song with Reverse Chromo and Pink Sifu, and it's Pink Sifu who kind of says, uh, and I absolutely thought this was a very fascinating then on the Avalanche's part, where there are two major samples on that song "Running Red Lights." It's the Association's Toy Maker, and it's Purple Mountain uh interpolation, and this is a interpolation of a Purple Mountain song, "Darkness and Cold," where um David says, "The light of my life is going out of tonight in a pink champagne Corvette. The light of my life is going out tonight without a flicker of regret." And Pink Sifu says that line, and that's a really, really, and by this time, and this album literally came. "We Will Always Love You" came out a year after we lost David, and I always thought it was fascinating that the Association's Toy Maker is a very cool love song about being in love with a quirky artist woman. It's like, and liken her to a toy maker, and how you love how this woman can just create her own world. Probably, you know, the woman is likely autistic, and it's probably the greatest love song to ever give to an autistic woman. Toy Maker by the Association, and having that really wonderful, and obvious. I'm saying that as a compliment, by the way. In case it's not too obvious. Uh,
It is.
but you know, but but to kind of contrast that with that Purple Mountain song about bitterly having to accept that someone who you loved has now moved on, it gave that song a really fascinating feel. And David did make it unambiguously clear that it was about his ex-wife, "Darkness and Cold," "The Light of My Life," and you know, like, hey, it's a very wonderful song, and I guess I'll admit it's even now with Saturday Night, it is a bittersweet song to go back to, because we don't have David anymore. It's the same way why Soundgarden and Audio Slave songs can be difficult because we don't have Chris anymore, and it kind of does become this spin of like, yeah, you were speaking, what you said, you were saying some stuff that I was feeling, but it's like, dang, man, like, am I now invading the dark thoughts of
A
of
person
a
in
person?
pain.
Yeah, and hey, it's whatever, and it's like, okay, I related it to it because I had my pain, but it's now like, dang, man, you know, I thought we were gonna win, man. That's how it feels sometimes, but that's the bittersweetness of it all, which also, I guess, also applies to, why I can't listen to, like, why I have a hard time listening to Linkin Park songs, but because it's like, dang, man, dang, man, it's like, I know we all did, it's like we all got it, but it's like, did we get it?
If I can speak on that for just a moment or two, like I may have said it on like a few streams here and there in the past, but like I was like at my boyfriend's house taking a shower when like he ran into the room saying Chester Bennington passed away, and I didn't want to believe. I'm like, no way. I kind of felt like Shaq when like he learned that Kobe passed away. I'm like, no way. That's just like some like trashy gossip. But like I saw the look on his face when I came out of the restroom, and I'm like, I can't believe this is happening. And I was definitely one of those people who was like, oh, like One More Light by Linkin Park. I'm like, I heard heavy, and I'm like, I'm not sure what like the intention is. And I remember like publications like saying, oh, Chester Bennington is reacting very poorly to the criticisms of the album.
I remember that
And
too.
and to be completely honest, and despite what's going on with the band right now, which I will bring up because context is needed, I still listen to songs like Good Goodbye with like Stormzy and Pusha T, and I'm like, you really need to tell me this was the best we could have gotten out of everybody in the room for this? I just feel like, because I also want to say, like, years ago, because I've been at the same job for almost 10 years. Like next year will be my 10th year of this company that I work for professionally. And like a lot of like the people in my department are younger than me. And so like the conversation in the break room is about, yo, who are your favorite rappers? And I say Mike Shinoda, Linkin Park. And the youth are like, who is that? We don't know who Linkin Park is. And I didn't want to believe it. But like, like I'm from a different generation from these youngins. And I'm like, yo, like you might actually like the first Linkin Park album. Like it's even to this day, the combination of like hip hop and rock is like seen as cringe.
Yeah.
And hold on, I want to say this part because this is what really like put the knife in my heart. I'm like, yo, like you would like Hybrid Theory by Linkin Park. It's a good album. And one of the dudes, he's like, cause I'd rather listen to country before I listen to rock, which is not, for the record, not a bad thing. But from where I sit, especially these days in the mainstream, you can't sit there with a straight face and tell me that country music is more compelling than rock.
I mean, like,
as far as I'm concerned, and so like I was kind of flabbergasted by this.
Not when Morgan Wallen was out there. Not when you had someone like Morgan Wallen's Last Night pulling Drake numbers. Sorry.
Now. Bear in mind, I would like to say I like because like in the I'm trying to be fair because like before we learned that Morgan Wallen was an alleged piece of racist shit, we all were like, yo, here we have a guy like who's really good at his job in regards to making, I don't know, quote unquote compelling country music. But after the fact, I'm not willing to give like dude a grain of salt because Last Night was on the album that did numbers after like the video of him saying the N-word went viral. You know what I'm saying? I want to bear that like context in mind because one of my favorite YouTubers, Todd in the Shadows, was giving kudos to Marlon for his song "I Can't Love You More Than My Hometown."
Huh.
You know, because like I knew a guy like that in my personal life from the city where I'm from, and like though I did not agree with his decision making, but like just hearing that song reminded me of him. And
Yeah.
I would not be surprised if that same person is still listening to Morgan Wallen to this day. Ugh. But I digress. Like, you mentioned earlier that you listened to song on the bus ride home.
Yeah.
I also did the same thing when I was going through like this, like when I listened to all the songs you put into the list for like this, like discussion of 2016 music. I listened to it all in one shot. And in the past, I had like given you your flowers with like the songs you selected, because when you listen, if you go into like the Spotify version of our playlist and run these songs straight through, it flows so well. And my friend has such a great ear for good music. Just like we got on the phone discussing how we're going to do this tonight, and I listened to all 4 of these songs, and just I felt so good listening to these songs. And you know me, I'm obsessed with music, but I tend to just listen to my own bullshit over and over again, day in, day out. I don't rarely listen to things I haven't heard before. I collect them because I'm like, I'm kind of a music hoarder, and platforms like Spotify make it easy for you to like keep track of things. Oh, I'll come back to this, even if you never do.
Yeah.
So just like having not heard these songs in so long, and like learn and thinking to myself, wow, Aramide picked these songs out. One, because he has good taste, but 2, it's like these songs really make you feel some particular type of way. And I was telling one of my friends on the phone, oh, we're gonna go live tonight. And like, oh, what songs are you gonna play? And I'm like, oh, we'll discuss. I'll send them to you. And like, they like YouTube Music as a platform, and so when you like look up a song on YouTube Music, you see how many times people have like listened to that song, and just like the numbers on these songs is like, yeah, these they may be in our eyes neglected, but they were like righteously consumed by the audience that love these artists. And the way that like you can it's like you mentioned David Berman, and I've never listened to Silver Jews a day in my life, but like any hipster worth his salt knows the name Stephen Malkmus. And I don't really know none of his work in particular, but I then think about the singer-songwriter Biba Doobie and how well loved and received she is. And one of the first songs I heard from her was "I Wish I Was Stephen Malkmus," and just like that through line of like that, just like that through line of just like that's that lineage of independent or just like alt music. It's like it's such a you can like find so many just like gems, just like following all the references, and just like, you know, like diving headfirst into the rabbit hole. And so it's like usually like when we make these lists, they live on the playlist and they're not going to live anywhere else. And now I'm going to be thinking, oh, who can I give like the gift of this song to? Like if I decide to buy Avalanche by the if I decide to buy wow, I can't even say the name of the freaking album correctly. Well, yeah, if I buy Wildflower, it's like, who am I going to give it to? Like, who can I like? Because, you know, like my goal is to be like Nardwar's #1 disciple, and he gives gifts. And I'm like, if I'm gonna like be like Nardwar and give gifts to my interviewees, I definitely also wanted to like give vinyl away. And I'm like, all right, so like if I do buy this album and not for myself, who am I gonna buy it for? Who do I know who would be interested enough in Plunder Phonics to give this like a proper chance? And so you give me a lot to think about with just this one song. And yeah, like again, you and like one other person that I know and love enjoy the Avalanches because they played me Frontier Psychiatrist many years after the fact it came out. And so I'm like, I can't just let 2 people that I know and care about be like my through line to this amazing duo. Like, because like Plunder Phonics is a child of hip hop. And I don't think and like Backpackers probably like respect and know the Avalanches, but like who's gonna be like the drill rapper that says, yo, I love the Avalanches, no like irony and know kind of like and not in just like an ironic way. You know what I'm saying? So that's like
Yeah,
that's kind
yeah.
of like just like that's the place my mind goes when I hear this song and hearing what you have to say about it. Was there anything else you wanted to include before we moved on to Honey?
Yeah, I guess I okay. And once again, like, and like, and the once again, I think on this album, you find a lot of their love for hip hop. I mean, this is kind of like an
Yes.
outlier in that it's like in that you know it's very much on a more bittersweet number of it all, but I think this is a song that I'm glad that it exists for many reasons. On top of just being a wonderful showcase of Avalanche's talent, and I would say in a way, kind of still flirting with that same energy that they had on Since I Left You. I think what David is able to evoke in his lyrics, which yes kind of get recontextualized to be more about a woman compared to the original demo, which is more about a dog. But the way he is able to speak to a, I don't, you know, I mean, I don't know. I don't know how universal these things are for everyone, but it does speak to a point of the bittersweet relationship of nostalgia. And it's something that really made me look forward to David being able to stick around for some more. But in the end, I am at least thankful for what he left us with, and I guess that's whether it's with Chris Cornell or Chester Bennington when these kind of things happen, all in the same way. I guess all you really do end up being is just kind of thankful that they were able to stick around as long as they did. To the Avalanches, to David Berman, and to this wonderful song, and all the more reason I am glad I decided to pick Han as the next track because, oh my goodness, was that conversation a downer?
Okay, I understand. I understand. Like it all makes sense to me now. And like I have something similar to say when we start talking about my last two contributions to this list, to this
Yeah.
compilation. Let's talk about how good this song makes me feel. Um I haven't heard it too many times. And in the past, like I took the time recently this week to listen to our old recordings from like 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And you were like, I forget which song you're talking about. But you're like, yo, like play this song at your wedding. It was the B.O.B. song. And in my
Yeah,
head,
yeah,
I was just like, freaking B.O.B. Because I don't really like care too much for So Good, but like you because you're such a wholesome freaking person. Like I couldn't be too like I couldn't be too much of a Debbie Downer about it. But
yeah,
yo, like this song, Good Together, it brings out all just like the cheesiness of
hmm
my inner being because like it almost like all right, not to be too weird about it, but
yeah. Because
like
I think I know where you're going with this,
let me
and I
let me
want you to
cook.
go there because, like, I know because this is all the more reason I'm glad we didn't, we like, did
We
what
saved it for
that
now.
day. Yeah, that day changed my perspective on the song. But but go on, go on.
Like when my dad died, something happened to me and I still haven't figured it out. I have to I need to like make the time and save the money to like address what like changed in me when he left this world. But like or as a result of him not being alive anymore, I haven't given myself the permission to like really like cry. If I'm being honest with myself and with the audience and with you, my friend.
Okay.
But there's something about Good Together that feels so precious and pure. You know, like I'm single and I'm polyamorous and I'm involved with like at least three people that I really, really care about.
hmm
You know what I'm saying? And with one of them, like they so casually were like, I don't want to freak you out, but I love you. And I knew right away that I loved them too. And I don't see them so much these days because like work and like their busy like family life. But the last time that I saw them, like I asked, oh, how are things? What's changed? And like so many things have changed. And I had to tell them, like, I'm really envious of what you have, but I know in my heart you deserve all the good things that are going on in your life. And I told them I want something similar for myself. And I want to have earned it, you know, because every person on this earth deserves to be loved. But like, if I'm talking about myself, I in like the life that I imagine for myself, I want to I want to earn it. I want to know without a shadow of a doubt that I deserve it. That like, oh, like this life that like the life that I want to make, like I made, like I put in the work. I went about it I didn't like skip any steps. I didn't like, I didn't like break any of the rules that I've made for myself. It's like, oh, in the most like in like the most authentic way that I can. I want to know that it's something is real in my life. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And so like I hear Good Together, and like because I hear Good Together, and I'm like, oh, like I reminds of the time when you said, oh, play this at your wedding, folks. And I'm like, I would play a song like this at a wedding. And if you go to the YouTube version of this playlist that we've built for the Superb 16, you'll see like the mahogany live version of this song with like a gospel choir. And the gospel, what a very complicated and like incredibly powerful genre. You know, like they're like, because here you have like this duo of like white presenting dudes making, just like some, I don't know, like some indie like electro pop about love. And like the composition, you hear just like the sounds that you would hear in a sanctuary if you come from like our background. Mm-hmm. And I remember being in high school, one of my my theater like teachers saying, I'm not a Christian, but I love going to churches where like the worship segment of the sermon is like upbeat and people are dancing and smiling and singing with enthusiasm. But then I leave. And, as a younger person, I thought it was kind of funny. But these days I'm like, I get it though, because for maybe like half an hour to an hour, you kind of wash away the effects of what this world does to you. And to be honest with you, I'm more agnostic spiritually these days, and I don't go to church because these mugs don't wear masks. But I don't like go out of my way to like discourage on a daily basis people going to churches, because I don't want to waste my time. And like, given all that's going on from a day-to-day basis in America right now, joy is fleeting. It's like you need it to be alive in these times, but it's very hard to find. And I feel like if people give like this song a chance, they can like keep like 5 minutes of joy in their hearts, and it's going to keep them going. Because like this song, I feel like this song is a little easier to like pass around than like Saturday Night Inside Out. Like still like I would say they're as powerful as one another. Mm-hmm. But like I would play Good Together at my job. Like this is like retail music, and I don't mean that as an insult. Like this song should be a hit. And like granted, again, when I saw it on YouTube Music, it has streams. Like people have been like putting on, like they listen to this freaking song. And again, I would have never heard this freaking song without you. You have given me such a great gift with this damn song. So tell me how you found it. I'm gonna stop talking.
Okay. I guess.
And tell me why your thoughts have changed, because this is also like, because again, like earlier in the stream, we did not get together on cam because you're like, my thoughts have changed about these two songs, and I was thinking, whatever reason why? And I know half the answer. I need the rest of the answer.
and you know, and the funny thing about this, but yes, while a song I considered the best of 2016, I did not first discover this song in 2016. I discovered it a year later, when I was at a Starbucks, for the bookstore
Ooh.
of my now alma mater.
Yeah.
So you know, so okay, as soon as I, you know, like, because 2016, because you know 2016 that after that year I would officially transfer to Howard, and all that. So I used to hang out a lot at the Starbucks, because you know that was a place you could go to just kind of to just chill. And you know, I would
Third
often,
place.
yeah, and I would often, and every now and then I would hear, you know, there would be a song that they would play that would grab me. And this was cool, this was one of the many. And you know, when we talk about 2017, you are definitely going to hear another one that, you know, that I owe to Starbucks. But
Okay.
yeah, but okay. So here's the real, and why this, and yeah, very beautiful. It's a very beautiful, like, not faking the funk. Yes, okay, very much, you know, kind of, hey everyone, let's hang out, have a hang out, great time, in terms of its sense of, like, kind of gospel bounds to it, but very much true to the nature of soul music, and with very, you know, just the delivery of it. You know, you know, because I would go the distance for you, and you know, I'll travel the world if you would let me. And you believe that, man? You absolutely do. So okay, and here's something that I was a tad bit surprised, that a tad bit, like, I'm glad that you brought up the whole wedding thing, because there will be two reasons why it's so great you brought that up.
Okay.
But the first thing is, I technically already introduced this song to you guys, like, like, back in 2017, when we were doing the Halloween thing. Only, okay, and this was how I was feeling then. I was
Who's
like,
we?
okay, all right. So okay, so I'm gonna snitch on myself. So 2017, you know, because this was back when I was trying to be back when I was trying to be a party DJ. And so you're like, hey, just like make up a Spotify list for this Halloween party, and you know, like, yeah.
Oh.
Here's the thing. I was this close to putting this song on that list, but I was like, nah, man, like, they'll probably think it's like really cheesy. So instead, I put the Alex Metric remix on. So I still sent you guys good together, but I sent you, like, the more, like, way more amped up remix, which I'm pretty sure you kept, but it's like, I don't know. I don't know how anyone reacted to any of the stuff I put. I think they didn't really care. They just wanted to just hang out.
I
But
have to snitch on myself. I have to snitch on
yeah.
myself. I have been like tweaking that play. If it's the playlist that I'm thinking of, was was this the one with our good friend Gianni?
Yeah, like, yeah,
Okay. I have to snitch on myself. That song is
yeah.
not in that playlist. Like I still have that playlist because on my personal account, it's not there. So if I
Not
heard
even
it,
the remix.
no, babes. So
Ah,
like
man.
I've been tweaking that playlist every so often. Because every time I hear like some spooky stuff, I'm like, oh, I have like 3 Halloween playlists personally, and I'm
Yeah.
like, I gotta put on one of these Johns. What am I gonna put it on? And like if it was there, I took it off, and so I apologize. I'm because like, but frankly, I think that if you had played the original, like I was at that party, it was kind of like two things
Yeah.
happened. Either because like at the time I was still with my ex, and we went
Mhm.
on a walk for that party, So if it played, I wasn't in the building, and if it did, it was kind of like it was a very like active party, and you were had a few of them beverages, and you were and the one thing I remember about you from that party is because you played that Ghostface John when
Oh,
like
yeah, Rise of. I think it's like. I think it's Rise of the Ghostface Killer.
you were getting amped to that song and just like
Yeah,
that was in my head for life in a good way because you are
yeah.
so just yourself. You're so earnest, and I'm like, only my dog would put something like this on here and be the only one in the room just getting busy. So like, I apologize because that song is not there, but I'm gonna go back to that specific remix and put it someplace else because I know I gotta hear it.
Because I was thinking at the time, I was thinking, okay, they probably are not okay. The original one might be a tad bit too cheesy for them. So, and it's like, and I know Chris apparently really likes K-pop. So
I do.
This out. So I think I'm pretty sure it's the. I'll have to check, but I'm pretty sure it's the Alex Metric remix that
I
I
already
sent
found it. It's
you.
going right back in that mug. Because
You
I'm like,
know,
I'm pretty sure I can take something else out that I don't care for anymore.
yeah. And I was like, okay, this one is way more hyped up. It's kind of like is like mega hyped up the way those K-pop tracks are. Maybe they'll like this one instead. So,
And hey,
yeah,
I'll do this for you. I
yeah,
don't know what my plans for Halloween are. And if I don't already make an original mix wherever I go, because I never like I don't stay in and hand out candy. I just put a bucket on the front door. So if I go to a kickback and if I don't end up making a personal mix, I'll just use that mix. If they give me the aux, I'm gonna put that mix on that old mix that we made together. And if I make an original mix, I'll add it to. It'll be the first one. It'll be the first track on there. Just as like on some like apology tour type shit. Because man.
Yeah. So, but here's the really, really fascinating thing about my relationship with this song. And you've mentioned how, you like would totally make sense to play at to put on a wedding playlist. Well, there's the thing. I actually did that.
And I think I know with who, like your homies that you like DJ'd for.
Like my old community college pal, Mr. Peterson, he would get married to the now Mrs. Peterson, and they were like, hey, come up with a playlist. But they didn't know I was gonna go insane about it.
You went sicko mode.
So, and because it's like, look, I will admit, I maybe do not have the greatest like perspective on most romantic relationships. So it's like, unfortunately, I would give them some great stuff. And then I would also like give them like other great stuff, but terrible for a wedding. So what they ended up decided to do was, hey, Miss Chamai, can you like help out this guy so that we get a cool playlist, but like one that actually works for a wedding, and yes, and Miss Chamai, now Mrs. Wallenstein, and I would end up kind of collaborating on that, and in the end, it would kind of be her thing, but a lot of my original, obviously you have to make your sacrifices with this kind of stuff, like people want to get married, not opine on your musical philosophies at a wedding. But the one and while I would definitely say that Miss Chamai and I, have common interests musically. She's into, but at the same time, she's into what she's into, and I'm into what I'm into. So it's like every now and then she would pick these songs. I'm just like, dog, man, this is like so absolutely cheesy. What are we playing this at? A wedding or something? Yeah, you know. So, one of the things we absolutely could agree on was not only putting good together on the playlist, but it's the first song. It was the first song, and
That is
I
definitely
think
a
it.
tone setter.
Yeah, and I thought it made absolute perfect sense for that wedding, and quite a fun wedding, quite a fun wedding. I had a wonderful time and everything, and I guess I'll talk more about it at some other, it's like off stream, it was a very fascinating day for me. But yeah, Good Together was on that list. Everyone agreed with it. Everyone agreed with it, and we all had a great time. And now, what's even more fascinating is the fact that Mr. and Mrs. Peterson, who I do still, maintain a pretty good relationship with, the reason I would end up having to go back to a certain neighborhood that I had left behind was because, with their house with their house that coincidentally used to be my house, and there was like a flooding situation. So because it's technically they're
You did a
technically
maintenance
like,
check.
so a maintenance check that did give me a time to get back in touch with some wonderful, wonderful, wonderful people. And while that was a day that I am not going to I cannot say was the most fun day to experience. What was nice was seeing Mr. and Mrs. Peterson, who all these years later, that wedding was like 6 years ago, I have not only continued to be good together, but have been very great together. And um, I I wish climate change would stop being so awful, so that house could stop getting flooded, because I blame
Hold on
every.
there. Hold
Yeah.
on there. What we're not going to do is give Mother Earth a hard time for doing what she has to do. What we will do is state that, for the record, the people responsible for keeping their constituents safe from natural disasters have not done their job. You and I are roughly the same age. We're about like 30
Yeah.
years alive. We've been alive for like at least 30 years.
Yeah.
And when we were in elementary school, our institutions attempted, I'm not going to say did their best, because I don't think that they did, but like they attempted to like teach us, our generation, like, oh, recycling is important. We need to recycle. And
I'll be recycling this.
same. And like to this day, it's still like very important to me, because again, I live online, I'm on Twitter, like I see what's happening outside. I see what's happening in this country, I see what's happening to the world. And fuck Cop City, by the way. If there are more trees, stay inside. Atlanta, stay inside. We're praying for you. So like if you greedy bastards did what you were supposed to do, Mr. and Mrs. Peterson home would be fine, And I certainly believe that good people are going to make it out. Not all of us, but some of us. And I sincerely hope there's some of them, because like any friend of yours is a friend of mine. But we will certainly don't blame Mother Nature. And as like, because you told me this story in private, and it really just reminded me that like it reminded me two things. jokingly that like I believe it said in like the Bible that like a prophet isn't welcome in their hometown any longer. Because you would later like post online to like, dang, it didn't hit the same being in the town that raised me. And I'm like, yeah, because it's time for you to move on. And secondly, like nothing gold can stay, like as far as like tangible things are concerned. But as you witnessed, like their love is like it's still like as vibrant as the day you saw them like get dedicated to one another. And I'm so glad you got a chance to see that.
Yeah, and I would recommend to anyone looking for a song to play at a wedding. Hey, take a page out of my book and have this be the first number. Or which granted I will not be repeat. Okay, granted I didn't want to repeat that in another wedding playlist because
who knows?
I feel
we
like
just might. Who knows? Who can say?
Yeah, I would like I would like I mean there have definitely been certain changes that we would not have anticipated years ago that I think have been all for the better. I mean, obviously, by the time of the matrimonies, there will probably be a bunch of people who want to be singing to that Chapel Roan. So that was a great decision.
We have 100 songs on that freaking playlist, and we still need to sit like the couple down to pair down. So like, hey, all the way from across the freaking universe, let's get it. Subtle smile in the house. Shout out. No, but like for real, we made 100 songs for the list. That's 6 hours of content. And let it be known, I will always like take out my guilty pleasures out for like the requests of the people. You know what I'm saying? Hey, hope you're enjoying your vacation. Like sincerely, I've been seeing it on like the socials. Like, hope you're recharging your batteries. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight. But we could definitely make room for this list because like whether we DJ that thing or not, like all we have to do is just make the suggestion. It's not like we're not gonna be throwing parties of our own, like amongst the two of us. So we will find room to like squeeze that John in somewhere somehow. We just gotta find the right freaking venue for it. Should we move on?
Yeah. All good. And all the more the reason I'm glad that I put Good together after Saturday Night Inside Out because it's like damn, my end I would have ended this list on such a freaking downer, man. And it's like I am so glad that I gave that list like a glimpse of a happy ending because I don't think of 2016 as a happy year. I mean, I'm never going to think of the year that Trump got elected as a happy year.
Let me say this.
Yeah.
Because, like, it was a very tense space where I was living at the time in 2016. But, like, that was the year, like, I met my guy. Like, we were spending... I don't know if we, like, locked in. I think we locked in that year, unless I'm mistaken. But like we were spending like me and my guy at the time, we were spending a lot of time together. And like we went to that women's march the day after the fact in DC and stuff like that. So like
only reason I didn't go was because by that time I was at Howard, so I was already going to DC.
You were in DC anyway.
Yeah, so
no, but like in spite of all like the awful things that happened during that administration, like, I felt like there was, like, a semblance of hope. And not on some, like, cheesy Obama shit. Like, I really felt like, like, after it went down the way it went down, that I tell everybody this. Like, once What's-His-Face got the election, I told myself, I'm never not going to know what's happening out in the world ever the fuck again. That was the year I decided to, like, lock in politically in regards to just, like, being cognizant of all that's happening around me and around the world. So not to discredit like all just like the misery people were subjected to over like from 16 to 20. I don't want to make light of that, but like it wasn't that way for everyone. And like I think we all I think a few of us deserve to just like look back and like remember, like I feel like this list is like, it wasn't completely awful. It still was terrible, but it wasn't like 100% bad. I think like the optimist in us all deserves to say that much about that year. So bearing that in mind, like one of the best things that happened to me as far as music was concerned was one Gallant and his song "Weight in Gold." And to start, because I have a lot to say. Who the fuck decided that Red Bull could start a record label? And and they have like, and here while I'm talking, I'm gonna pull up like their current roster because like there are some really good artists on that label, and I think that they deserve to have their time in the sun. Like we got mugs like, and some of these folks I don't even know. There's not a whole lot of them. Like there's Morgan, who I don't know, Albert Hammond Jr. from The Strokes, Blast, who I know by name but don't listen to, Beartooth, who I love, House of Protection, who I really love right now. If you loved man, like the bands that like the two like the 3 or 4 bands that those two cats were in, royalty, music royalty, House of Protection, James Vickery, I don't know who that is, Jay Million, who I don't know, Junie, who I don't know, C&G, I don't know who that is, Juger, don't know who that is, Rory 404, I don't know who that is, Chris LaRocca, no idea, Peter Sun, Kofi, I don't know who that is. So that's who's on there now. You know what I'm thinking of? I'm thinking of the alumni, because that's where it's like, ain't no way an energy drink has such great bands on it, like bands like Twin Atlantic, AWOL Nation, and One Gallant. Like I'm pretty sure like this first album, Ology, came out under that label. I'm going to Spotify right now to make sure I'm not talking shit. And the reason why Gallant means so much to me is that I have a hard time taking in R&B. If you didn't already know, oh fuck, I lied. Okay, it was just okay. Snitching on myself yet again. I think that just Red Bull is doing like a promo for all the cool shit they're involved with, and they were using Weight in Gold as just like the bumper music, because Ology came out on Warner, and I think his imprint, Mind of a Genius. So like, you see a black person, right? Mm-hmm. And you know, you can tell I'm square or whatever the fuck. And so like, what happens when you're like you're black and you're a fucking square? R&B in hip hop, it's like, it's because I love those genres. Like I would die on the cross like defending these genres because like it's my fucking culture and like it means a lot to me. For a long time, it didn't. I kind of resented those like cultures, those genres, those communities, because I had a hard time accepting who I was and my community and those around me. And a lot has changed. And what's changed is like how much I love all these artists, all these people who love the music. And because I love everyone involved, like I have more context and like understanding and empathy. But one thing is for sure, Gallant kind of exists on the outside of like mainstream R&B. And that's what I fucking hate most of all. There isn't a lot of space for mugs to be weird in R&B. It only seems to benefit the culture at large when everyone likes it.
It's like
take a brother like Thundercat. Mm-hmm. Like, I think that like if it wasn't so like, because Thundercat like is like an interesting case because he's so talented and he has such a vast, like he's so connected to so many like artists in the realm, like including like legends and like just people in LA and like they're like comedians and like people in anime. Like he's so well just like connected to people, and he's such like a fun presence to be around. Though these days I have a hard time getting into his work when he took a picture with a certain someone on Instagram. We're not going to get into that. It's neither here nor there. But he's still like the best example for me because like he's so fucking funny, and like the talent is just kind of flying off the page. So he's allowed to cook, kind of like say a Zach Fox, because like unless you're chronically online, the first time you're seeing Zach is on Abbott Elementary. But if you're tapped in, you've known he's been funny for a long damn time. Was just waiting for a moment to like just be everywhere and anywhere, and he freaking deserves it. Like I would say that like Eric Andre walks so Zach Fox could run, you know, just had a chance to like be himself all the time on camera or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
But a guy like Gallant, again, because Gallant has had a lot of great collabs with people we know and love. Seal, Dua Lipa, Jhené Aiko, some K-pop artists that I can't really think of right now. But Weight in Gold, like it just like it exists in like the hipster realm because he hit all like the big late night shows around the world when Weight in Gold was like the single. And
shout out to his appearance later with Jules Holland.
Exactly. But, just because like he does all the shit that like because like if I can talk shit, a lot of these R&B dudes, they're so like insistent on being cool. You know what I'm saying? But Gallant is a freaking performer. Like, and because him just like wailing and going for it seems to be way more important than just like looking hot and like, how's it going, ladies? You know what I mean? Because like, I'm sure he doesn't have trouble in that regard because that's a handsome young man. No. You know, I'm not trying to be weird about it, but it's like that's a handsome person. But it's like the song matters way more than just like the aura, I guess. Because like I think about dudes like Future or like Party Next Door or Miguel. It's like, yeah, like the songs are subjectively good, but it's like those guys are hot. You know what I mean? And they're cool. And again, I'm not saying like Gallant's like a geek or whatever, but it's like the music comes first. And so it's like, all right, bet you can go to the back of the line, my dog. Like we're trying to get to this money. And as we can see, he's on freaking Warner. Granted, he's on an imprint of Warner, but yeah, it's a Ology is a chunky album. And like I'm wondering to myself, like here's my big question with this song, because like, you know, I like it. It's clear that I fucking like it. It's one like it is one of like the big songs if you like were to pick up like a hipster in magazine or like website, like a Pitchfork or whatever the fuck. Would I have given this song like it bears wondering, would I have given this song a proper chance if it was a mainstream R&B song and like black institutions? If like Gallant was on BET, like on the BET Hip Hop Awards, or like because you know like there's the hip hop awards and there's like the BET Awards. If he was winning an award, then would I have given him a proper chance? I'm just trying to like untangle like the like this is turning into like a fucking therapy session because it's like what like because not to like be fucking weird about it, but like if Gallant was like one of them, like one of like the mainstream acts, would I care about how good Weight in Gold is? I don't know. Like, would I have not given this song a proper chance if it wasn't like perceived to be good by the white gaze? That is the fucking question. And like, I have a similar fucking question with our final act of the night. I'll come back to that later, but I want to start with Gallant because like, it's like it feels kind of like because you know it's R&B. It kind of moves at like a dubstep BPM. You know what I mean? With like like it almost feels very like Son of D'Angelo type shit, you know?
I would definitely agree with that.
And before we go any further, like I have a feeling you knew about this song even without me having to put it on the list. Yeah?
Oh yeah. This was one of those tracks. That like I'm pretty...
It was everywhere in our spaces.
Yeah. Like, you know, if I wasn't hearing it at like a Starbucks, I was definitely at some point like seeing a performance. It was I'm pretty sure it was like on TV promo ads and stuff like that because you know it was
getting synced.
Yeah, and I in a way, it's like I definitely do like very much consider it R&B at its core, but I felt like I was looking at it like, this could be a potentially pretty good pop single. This could I I wouldn't be surprised. Well, I knew it wouldn't like top the pop charts, but I was like, but I think this could be something that could really catch a lot more steam. And in a way it did. In a way it did. I mean, Gallant would end up being nominated for best urban contemporary R&B album. I something to that effect. And yeah, best urban contemporary album, which I'm pretty sure he lost to Solange.
There's no way there's no way she wasn't winning that year.
Yeah. Oh no, my bad. No, my bad. He lost to Beyonce. My bad.
Well,
bad.
Hey,
that. I mean, losing to like I don't losing like I can't even take seriously the notion that losing to Beyonce is an insult. It just is what it is.
Freaking honor, you know what I mean?
Yeah, so I was very much expecting like, Gallant to. I mean, to get to that kind of like level, I guess like Khaled.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
Khalid.
Yeah. Khalid.
I can't believe I forgot about Khalid.
Yeah, I was thinking, so because I'm like, I was thinking, it was him and Khalid were gonna be like the dudes,
faces of the new school.
Yeah, exactly. Because Frank Ocean dropped that year too. But like, dude,
shit.
bro, y'all better savor them Frank Ocean crumbs.
Was a king to a god.
But so yeah. I was very much expecting Gallant to be like kind of like the next real big deal, and he has been
like
releasing
a Black.
stuff. Yeah. And he has been releasing stuff. He just dropped like
this year.
Yeah. I have no idea what happened with his follow-up album. Like, I don't know if like
one of that just... Oh, you know what? You know what? Because I'm thinking of like, because I'm talking dudes up so hotly. I know maybe like 3 of his songs for real.
Yeah.
Because but like I would like, to my defense, I'm like my ministry is more metal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But damn, like, and speaking of that kind of music, it's like, bruh, like, I could easily see like a Gallant or like a Duran Bernard working with a band like, say, Nightlife or like Bad Rabbits.
Or
something like that.
Yeah, and Gallant, Gallant's from Maryland, so like, somebody, get Gallant about Nightlife, man. Like, seriously, y'all need to hook that up.
Get it together, cuz. Come on, like,
yeah.
Skylar Accord, make the call.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, I feel like, I mean, I will definitely have to check out. I'll definitely have to check out the Zinc album.
Yeah, Zinc just dropped, and Sweet Insomnia came out in 2019, which I admittedly did not listen to. And it's so funny that I mentioned Black, because like Black is a feature on there, along with Sabrina Claudio.
Sabrina, like, who I have not. I don't really listen to Sabrina like that.
Let me tell you something about Sabrina Claudio. She basically did what Camila Cabello did, and like, yeah.
Like, how you gonna be then?
For those who don't know, anti-blackness.
Man, how you gonna be in like they want to be down so bad too, like,
and like the first song I heard by Sabrina Claudio, I'm like, yo, this song is like really good. And like, for, I guess, to her credit, like, admitted it herself.
Yeah.
But I'm like, why say this if you like? Because I'm thinking like in my head, I'm like, why say it if you want to keep making music? Because my theory about like when you do some like cancel worthy shit it's like if you keep want to like participating in like the culture that you're like want to contribute to, I need money and an annual apology and a motherfucking PSA. It's like I did something really fucking bad, and here's why it's bad. Here's why you shouldn't do it, and here's why I won't do it ever the fuck again. And here is like a significant portion of my income to the community that I harmed. If people can do that much, maybe we can have a conversation about like restorative justice. But it seems to me that nobody's having that kind of conversation except abolitionists. And nobody's listening to the abolitionists. And that hasn't changed in the last 40 fucking years. But that's neither here nor there. I just want to like, if you're like me, if you're from the realm of like, just like outcast or weirdo black person, and you don't like just have like the know all the hits at like the throwback parties and like the early Y2Ks and 90s and 80s and shit. Like you didn't like already know all the hits by SWV and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
Would you have given a fuck about Gallant if like his presentation to you was in like a explicitly African American space where it's like, oh, we put on for black artists regardless of the level of clout? You know, because what's interesting to me, most of like the big R&B stars of our day, like the who's that guy who's the king of R&B? What's that dude's name?
Like
Jacquees.
Oh yeah. Oh,
guys like Jacquees and stuff like that. Millions of monthly listeners. Gallant has like a healthy 800,000, and that's nothing to throw a stick at. But mostly like the leaders of the conversation of like explicit like genres, millions. And I'm not saying less monthly listeners make you more authentic, but like what hasn't cracked for like the day-to-day average Joes? Because like if I really want to like make man on the street content for music, and I want to be like, Philadelphia, do you know who Gallant is? And not in like and not in any hipster spaces, not in any college spaces, just like run-of-the-mill average Joes or Janes, like people. Like I want to talk to boomers from like the black space. Have you heard of Gallant? Do you know who that is? Do you know? Have you heard the song Weight in Gold? Would you like to hear that song? That to me is more important. Because what is not connecting? Because I'm sure Gallant will tell you I'm doing great. And I do not doubt it. Like you go to like the music that's come out since like 2016, he's done so much cool shit. It's clear that like the people propping up his career are like in it for the long term. But just like what's it gonna fucking take to like hear? I want to hear Gallant on the radio everywhere in the motherfucking country. Fuck England or any of those. I'm like, I don't know if even Gallant's been on Colors. You know what I mean? I feel like a lot of like every I feel like every big like indie artist does a color session. Even fucking and more mainstream acts have done it now because they know like what it means for your career to do so. I don't know if Gallant's been on there. I would love to see him there if he hasn't done it already. I'm ready to move on. Are you?
All good. But Gallant is still Gallant. Like I was able to check out some of the recent stuff that Gallant was releasing. It's some pretty solid stuff. Like seriously, show the man some love. I mean, I think Gallant feels like a person who really could have, if he wanted to go pop, could have, but has clearly shown that he really is about keeping it legit. And you know, I think that should be respected. And show Gallant some love,
Last thing, I failed to mention he also like touched base with like freaking John Legend, like when that first album came out. And no, he has not been on Colors, but you know where he has been 7 years ago before anybody else was doing it for clout? Tiny Desk.
Tiny Desk, man. And so I guess
Speaking of nepotism,
and I guess you admitted into your more lapsed relationship with R&B, compared to
many of our peers.
Yeah. It does. So what was the situation that ended up getting you to Lion Babe? Lion Babe.
Our final artist.
Yeah.
Where do we go? So, oddly enough, so like prior to me dating, prior to my previous relationship, I was in a long-term relationship with a woman who was, I would say, was obsessed with music as much as I was, and was consistently just like getting like burned CDs from her sister, just like had a hand in many buckets, much like myself, maybe even more than myself, because I was way more pretentious. Like I would say like 2013 and 2015, I was so freaking pretentious about my taste. And I think if it wasn't my ex from Georgia who got me into Lion, I can't think of who it was, because I'm pretty sure I heard Treat Me Like Fire first. And I don't know who played it for me. And like, it's so what's so fascinating. Whoa, slats. Whoa. Okay. It appears that like our beloved fashionista, fashion icon, music artist, V, also from Subtle Smile, also feels away. Subtlesmile.com, subtlesmile.com. I'll put the link in the description after today's stream, subtlesmile.com, for fashion, art, and music. Yeah, but like Lion Babe, which is a couple, vocalist, daughter of Vanessa freaking Williams.
Yo,
did you know that? I didn't. Did you know that?
Yo, yeah, there was like, I guess now that you say there, like there
you didn't know. Fascinating. It's like favorite things to like tell people, because like again, like an artist that's like a duo that's like been putting in the work for a long fucking time. There's so much. They have so much fun shit to listen to, and somehow they're not a mainstream fucking act.
Yeah, and this is
we don't see a lot of couples in like an R&B thriving, do we?
Yeah, we don't like R&B. I feel like with both the men and the women, especially in this era, it's I don't know. It's not there isn't a lot of like truly I don't know, like couple acts, or like acts, even acts which in of themselves, the songs from them are about them being in long-term relationship. Like, All Love to the Week, like, name me like name me 5 songs from The Weeknd that you want to play at your wedding. Exactly.
Hey, yo. Hey, he's about to drop again, so shout out to Abel, I guess. Nah, but like, I picked this song because like there's so much good shit from Begin that I could have chose, but I wanted to pick Where Did We Go because for a selfish reason. Because after this, like after we finish talking about this song, we're taking a break from our like coverage of the years.
Sorry.
Huh?
Yeah, sorry. My mic got weird, and then I
can hear you. It's cool.
Yeah, okay.
No, but like, where do we go from here? And like, there's like a myriad of things that we can do together before like reality kind of like pulls us a little bit away from one another. But just like I just there's something about this particular record, man. Just I just love that yeah, like I said earlier, there aren't a lot of couples in this, in like not even subgenre in R&B that's like happily making music together. And it's the kind of thing where like if it meant that like something got in the way of their relationship, I want the music to go away. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, please don't go on tour, please don't release anything else. Just like go away for like, I don't know, 3 years, so like y'all can stay together. Because I hate it's what's so fucked about love. Because I believe it never fails. I believe love never fails. My favorite quote I wrote it on like my name tag at work from Devin Townsend is never fear love. And I hate just like that notion of like, yo, what if like this doesn't like this isn't like the thing that I keep for the rest of my days. And but as I asked that question, I also remembered that like even in like because you mentioned like how Saturday Night Inside Out is like a morning song in a sense,
Yeah.
given that like David Berman's no longer with us. And this year, like earlier this year, I was at like I visited my mother. We went to a play, and it was a beautiful play about Black love. And the backdrop of the play, I'm struggling on the name. I'll put it in the comments after the stream. But like the main character is battling memory loss.
Oh, wow.
And so her kids are like, who's gonna take care of her? And hang on a second. Sorry. I'll come back to you in a second. Her kids are like, oh, who's gonna take care of mom? Who's gonna like take care of the house? And all while they're wondering, oh, like our mother's losing her memory, she's mourning the loss of a child. And like the setting of the play is in New Orleans. And I suppose, like, I don't know this to be fact, but apparently at a funeral, after like just like the sermon and things of that nature, there's like a horn procession. And in one of the scenes, they're returning from the funeral, and everyone's like in their best dressed, and you hear when the saints go marching in. And like I feel that transition from Saturday Night to Good Together is just like that metaphorical horn procession for on the playlist, I suppose. And now with oh damn. With the end of like our series on 2016 coming to a close, where do we go? And I know like this like the bridge of the song is love to turn you on, love to turn you, and like that is no context for what we're doing together, unless like people like what they see. Hey, how you doing? But like my boy Elor is single, he needs a wife. Hey. But like in regards to just like it just like if I'm taking it just like to a lofty place, you know, like because it's an election year. Like you mentioned earlier, like climate change is like beating our asses. Like I saw a tweet that was like, back in my day, October was cold. And I'm like, yo, don't talk like that. Don't make memes like that. Like it's gonna be cold, hopefully. And so like you have to wonder to yourself, like, with all that's like transforming around us, where do we go? And before I like get lost in any more thoughts, bring that mic close to your face. Where did you hear Mide for the first time, Alor?
Once again, I might have actually, I think there might have been like one of the few acts I remember getting like played on like VH1 Soul before it would transition into BET Soul. And I mean, BET Soul does try to put people on, but they do try to put some people on to the folks who are really like buzzing in the
out.
yeah. But I mean, I'm not trying to slander BET Soul. I just feel like I think it just says so much of how I feel like the music industry is treating R&B in general, that it's like if you're not like a Drake or a SZA or did this and that, it's like you really need to be dependent on like a BET Soul showing you love. And sometimes I don't know if they will, because and I don't know. I still feel like I feel like in that transition from VH1 Soul to BET Soul, so much was lost, because it's like I don't know. I need to get back to watching BET Soul, I guess, because I ain't seen Lime Bay there in a minute, man.
This is another example. There's like an artist who's just like consistently creating, and there's no like, because like great music, they have really great music videos, and again, like the songs are great, so there's clearly a budget, but like not so much as a fact where, oh, like motherfuckers need to see this, motherfuckers need to hear it. Like my mission, like I feel like there isn't like a cat that's like, oh, like it's my job to steal and rob. No, I'm just like, oh, I'm gonna go out of my way to like, because you know that first freaking episode of Atlanta when Gambino's character has to like put the money in the CD case to get Paperboy on college radio, and like I don't want to, like, I'm 30 fucking two. What business do I have listening to college radio at my age? You know what I'm saying? Like, sure, I guess I can listen to like things like KEXP and shit like that. But, and you know, like I live in fucking Philadelphia. It's not like I can't go up the street to like hear just like shit off like the beaten path at a really affordable price. You know what I mean? But again, in a world where like COVID could take you out without warning, if I don't want to go to shows, like if all I do is go to work into my crib, am I going to hear Lion Babe at work? You know what I'm saying? Like, am I going to see them on the front page of YouTube? Am I going to see their music videos on twitter.com? Am I going to see like a clip of their videos on TikTok? Like who's making those decisions? Because I don't believe the artist should be responsible for like doing the promo unless like they have like the space and the spoons to do so. And I feel like we lose out on that. Is it like what? Is it because that the lead vocalist is of a particular skin tone? Is it because like they're an interracial couple? What the fuck is it? I want to know why people are missed the boat on this group. You know what I mean? Because like there was a time where like I was putting Rockets by Lion Babe on every goddamn playlist I made for people, and I'm like, I need to like not burn myself out on that one particular record. There are so many great songs that they have that I could just like give to the people, and they are getting millions of streams like in a scattered kind of way. But I'm like, nah, I want my mother to know who like Lion Babe is, because like it's like if there's, you know, with all the content on YouTube about like reaction channels and shit like that, and like I love that one subset of like reaction content where like cats like sit with their parents and listen to music together. It's like, oh, like here's some shit that our audience recommended that we listen to together. I'm like, this could be, I guess, that kind of like intergenerational. Like, why can't Lion Babe do what Beyonce is doing? Is Beyonce the only R&B artist allowed to like be the one act that's intergenerational? Because I don't talk to a lot of boomers about Beyonce. But granted, I don't talk to a lot of black boomers about Beyonce. And the last time that she came up, because when I used to work in West Philadelphia, old heads were pissed that she covered Before I Let Go. And like I couldn't understand the disdain, because it's like, old head, you hear that shit at every fucking kickback. Every 4th of July, if you're going to like a family kickback, every Thanksgiving, every like, I don't know, funeral, birthday party, you're hearing Frank Beverly and Mays, rest in peace to the GOAT. So like Muggs can't cover this song and put it on wax. I'm sure there's like a significant chunk of black people who never heard Frank Beverly and Mays because of Beyonce, like took a chance on that act because of a Beyonce. How many other like people of other cultures who never like given like R&B a chance, gave it a chance because of Beyonce and stuff like that? Why can't Lion Babe do the same fucking thing?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And it just does kind of go back to what I said, like, you know, how it feels as if it's like so much of like, because Lion Babe, it feels like it's like, especially with them being like a long-term couple and all that jazz, it's very much songs focus on togetherness in a space where
do we go?
Yeah, exactly. Where I don't really, it's like, look, like I'm not saying R&B's in a bad place. You can still find some quality tunes. It's just was so. I mean,
Where's the balance?
maybe it's it's always, you know, it's either, you know, I'm the number one alpha boss guy, you know, like, you know, I love him, but I don't need
what?
I love him, I don't like, you know, I love him, leave him, And with the chick and with the ladies, they also have that same energy. Not that it's a bad thing, but it's
More of
just
that,
that's
actually.
all it is. That's just all it is right now. Oh, yo, I be running through the dudes, and
He did me wrong.
it's like that it's like, yo, it's cool. It's cool. I get it. I get it. But it's like, damn. It's like, is the whole term of like long time being with someone for a long time, is love just dead now? I guess that's the point of this play. That's what I guess that's what our playlist, our songs, our last two songs have in common. We're both trying to reckon with the concept of where love exists.
And as you're saying that, like, even Weight in Gold is like, I can't carry this weight on my own.
Yeah.
And I definitely feel that in my bones in regards to my own trauma and sadness and shit like that. But like, as you ask, is love dead in R&B? It's like Victoria Monet can't do it all by herself, being like a loving mom and like being like and a front-facing like bisexual person in like the black spaces and things of that nature. Like when I was watching the Grammys earlier this year, bass player from Earth, Wind and Fire is there, and Price is like, yo, y'all did a song with like Victoria Monet. And he's like, yeah, she's a real R&B singer. Like, she's a proper star. Who was going to be that advocate for fucking Lion Babe? Yeah, they got a Pharrell beat on the same album, but like, as we can clearly see unfolding before our very eyes, Skateboard P is a Zionist. I don't care what he fucking thinks.
Yeah, and
what I mean? So like,
and it's like and it's awkward because I was showing Pharrell all that love when
we all did
on when we had Ben on. Like I was even contemplating putting an NERD track when we come for 2017. But the way Pharrell's doing Chad, it's just like, dang,
man,
like,
justice for fucking Chad Hugo, babes.
Like, yeah, it had me feeling some type of way. It's like, why do you want me to watch your little Lego biopic when you out here shortchanging the man like that? Like, I don't get it.
Shade.
I don't get it. Yeah, man.
Disrespect.
Yeah.
And like prior to like Hit Different by SZA, I'm like, where's Chad? And like, from what I can recollect, it's like, at home raising my kids, man. The fuck? And I'm like, oh, period. You know what I mean? Like, what can a man do to get like Chad Hugo on the beat by himself? Does he have a tag?
Yeah.
Shit, man.
Yeah. Man.
But I digress. Where do we go? Lion Babe, Gas, like, put that shit on. It's good as fuck. And that's our fucking show, y'all. The Superb 16, it took us a long motherfucking time to get this shit done, but we're finally done. Yeah. We will be back later this month. It has yet to be revealed what day, but like, since I'm paying for the man's time, I'm going to make sure we lock in. If best case scenario, twice this month. That's my goal. Okay. I think we're gonna this channel is gonna do at least 3 more streams this month if I can really work hard to like meet my co-host. Where if I can just make sure I'm holding on my end of the bargain. Well, I'll upload 3 more times this year. But me and Mide, we're doing this at least twice more. And the first 2 things that I suggest, live on the air, Apple last year, I think if not earlier this year, last year they put out their 100 best albums of all time. And I feel like they did a shitty job, straight up. And so I made my own list. Mide, have you finished yours?
I still need to finalize a few things and just
okay.
But
I'm gonna challenge you. By the time I'm gonna put this in the mail this week. So your goal is what, the 6th of October?
Yeah, 6th of October.
Lock in. See if you can't get this done in 4 days. These take about 5 days at the least to get to your home. So see if it can't be done by 10:10.
Yeah, and I'll be updating you.
Yeah, because I don't think we have enough time to because my goal was we'll do 4 streams in regards to our list, but I just want to take some time to just discuss the concept of all time greatest albums of all time from a large corporation and what that says about music as a whole. Because we're just like two people with vastly different experiences, somewhat similar in a lot of regards, but they're very different than the rest. So like I'm very interested in seeing your list of like 100 best albums for you, because I'm thinking, will we have any albums in common? Because like it's gonna be a mouthful of a conversation. I think we should start there, and then we'll like consider other ideas. One thing I want to talk about, because it's happened in recent news, is that Warped Tour is allegedly coming back. And though I know you're not like a scene kid or an emo or a metalhead, you have great fucking taste in bands. And I feel like the best part about like hardcore culture is when you have a bill that's mixed. You have like a power violence band, you have like an acoustic group or solo artist, you have some power pop, right? You have like your I don't know, like your mellow death or whatever the fuck. So like I think that we should like, because I'm not sure how many, like, because you know, like the amount of bands they book every year is different. We like pick a year, look at the amount of bands they picked, split the bill. You book half, I book half. And this is in the context of, no, when you come to this tour, every one of these bands is playing. We're like disregarding like local acts and shit like that. Like, nah, if we're picking this band, they're going on the bus. Everyone's gonna see them across the country and shit like that. That's also like something I want to do with you, because like you exist outside of just like that nerdy chugga caveman unga bunga bullshit. So like I feel like your perspective is so valuable, because what Warped Tour is about, in addition to just like and shit like that, it's about underground music, underrepresented music. You like music for the freaking outcasts. You know what I mean? Hey, sayonara. Have a good time on your vacation. Thank you so much for hanging out with us, V. We appreciate you so much. Subtlesmile.com. Link in the comments after the stream. So that's just what I'm thinking out loud. I'm so happy you got a chance to be with me today. Like, it's like most mornings I replay the old streams, and so I'm glad we have another just like notch in the tree. And I love this idea of Philadelphia do-it-yourself. Isn't really like this, but I love how diverse the bills can be out in Chicago. Yo, shout out freaking Chicago. One thing about the two of us, we love us some Lupe, so shout out Chicago. I know, now again, some inside baseball. Me and this man have been discussing, bro, we should just go to Chicago to see some shows or whatever the fuck many moons ago. And I'm still be open to that. And like, you know, it's expensive, I guess, but like we could pool our resources and have a hell of an adventure together, you and I. Someday we got to do it. If not to just interview a band, like just attend a show, or just like see like the touristy sites and eat some of like the local food and shit. Chicago, we're coming for your ass. Please know.
Like everyone has always let me know that the Chicago hype,
Chi-town, baby,
that is very real. So you know, and
shout out Harm's Way.
You know, so absolutely, man.
Yo, it's so funny. Like, I'm in this Discord with some cool folk, and they're like, "Homie, you're gonna go see Nightlife play in Philly?" And I'm like, "Let me see the ticket prices." And they're like, $70, and that's before like fees and taxes. So a big fuck you to Live Nation, but break a leg to Rain City Drive, Belmont, Until I Wake, Siamese, and Nightlife. Shout out to With Sales Ahead, putting me reminding me that this show was happening. With Sales Ahead, I'm coming to Jersey. I'm gonna get in your email. I'm gonna like talk to the manager. I want to interview you guys so bad. Gifts and vinyl and like cool questions incoming as soon as I figure it out. This is 2025 Chris talking, but like I'm coming. I want to say hi. I want to like give you your flowers in real time, because you're wonderful and you're doing great things for the scene. Well then, Creatures Forever. Shout out Pulses, baby. Don't forget the period. Is there anything else we could have missed before we go?
I think we're on a pretty solid page with everything, and you know, and with the definitely look forward to coming back to talk about the 100 greatest albums, and what we kind of share, views wise, because I'm very much. Even though I've always had a fractured relationship with them, I very much grew up, like
I'm
You
an
think
iTunes
those?
kid for sure.
Well, I was more on like Rolling Stones and like what they
Hey, shout
were
out Rolling
kind
Stone
of.
too.
Yeah, like the Rolling Stones 500 greatest albums list, which has consistently been
Oh,
updated, and recent updates. It's like, hey guys, I get it. You gotta appeal to like what the folks are really listening to now, but it's like you can definitely tell when they're just like trying to appeal to like
taking money under the
recent.
table.
Yeah. I
We all
mean,
want to think that Plugola isn't real, but it is. Payola is not real, but it is.
yeah, like it's one of those things. It's one of those things where it's like, and I do not mean this as shade to this artist. I think this artist is a very talented
Who?
artist. Sabrina Carpenter. It's like, no, and this not shade to her, but it's like, when Rolling Stones ends up like doing some updated like the 50 greatest vocalist in, like if they put like Sabrina Carpenter in like the top 15, it's like,
If I
okay,
may, you
no,
can like
this
have
is
those
not
conversations.
shade. This is
You
not
can have
shade.
those
This is not
like,
shade to
but
her.
fam, she's gonna be
You know,
fine. She has stands.
yeah,
Who gives a
yeah,
shit?
yeah,
Respectfully, you know what I mean? It's
yeah,
like a decade goes by, like, cause like, okay, she's in the public eye for like a couple of like at least like what 3 big songs, if not 4.
yeah,
If you're consistently like performing live, like if you're like on some Tori Kelly shit, some Yeba shit, Adele type shit, because I already know like she collabed with Aguilera or whatever the fuck. It's like, doggy, if the girlies are all saying for like 10 years straight, wow, Saul Carpenter, she blew the house down with the vocals, cool, problem solved. It's
yeah,
like
yeah.
if we're discussing like the quality of music and we know that like the acting question goes outside often, it's an open and shut fucking case. We can talk quality another time, but it's like, dog, we're talking about fucking pop music in regards to Carpenter. I'm still confused whether this shorty was like the op of Olivia Rodrigo or not, but it's not really important anymore now, if it ever
Yeah,
was in the
yeah.
first place. So like, I don't lose sleep over that shit. I'm all for having like a healthy, like fun, no nonsense debate when I know nothing's really at stake. And like, I avoided espresso for as long as I could because I'm like, do we care or not that like if she's pro or not, if she's like pro or anti-Palestine? Well, like when that was like a thing that what people were possibly discussing is when I avoided the artist, but that seemed to have died down, I guess, if that's even appropriate to fucking say. So I don't really bother anymore. Like I know espresso's a big fucking deal because they played at my job.
Yeah, and like, look, wait, I was saying like call espresso song of the summer when the summer started. I was
Yeah, because
I
it
was
was
saying
not.
that. I was saying
It was not like us. It was either not like us or a song by Megan Thee Stallion. Like, let's
yeah,
give it a
yeah,
bean.
yeah,
Let's give
yeah,
it a
yeah.
bean.
But before Kendrick dropped, before Kendrick dropped,
Probably Megan's
and
song.
did yeah, before Kendrick and Megan dropped, like I was completely cool
Before?
with, like, no, because like espresso had been out since like the spring, right? It had been out since like the spring, right?
I'll fact check that real quick because I guess
Yeah,
it's important
and
now. I
like
guess.
and Megan dropped during it like around the midpoint of, and Megan she dropped around the midpoint of the summer, right?
I'm
Like,
pretty sure she dropped prior. That's my
oh,
argument, but I will verify this
okay.
information.
Okay. I was saying before Meg and Kendrick, I would have been cool with y'all putting that espresso stuff on Song of the Summer because I was like, all right,
Cool.
it's a hit. She's delivering on the vocals. It is what it is.
That's not a vocal song. Let's keep it a bean.
Well, she had her flair, I guess.
Okay.
But,
Okay.
But it's like, all right, but so it's like it's no shade. It's no shade. She's earned her spot. We all know she's earned her spot.
Let me see. Around the same time, as far as like single output from Megan is concerned, I guess it's also a regional fucking thing. Obviously, I guess. And again, for context sake, because like Star Wars like devolved from like my favorite is better than your fave to like absolute like misogyny and racism, which is what really gets my goat, because then like I'm blocking folk. You know what I'm saying? It's like you can be young and ignorant on social media. Why am I even seeing your tweets? You know what I mean? But if it's like outright like hate speech, it's like, okay, like the fun is over. Like listening privilege is revoked. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
And I'm not pitting people who may see each other in real life and be like, oh hey, I'm a fan. You know what I mean? Because I don't know these people. I don't owe them anything. I'm thankful for the music, and if they make me upset, I'll listen to somebody else. And that's why you keep 1,000 artists in your pocket. So in case like like your mainstream fave like does something dumb or like makes you upset, you have like 300 DIYers vying for your attention in streams. My sore is wow, my throat is sore. I'm gonna finish drinking this water. I have some mac and cheese calling my name, and I have to prepare for this 6-day work week. You know the fucking vibes. Thank you for hanging out with us for the last 2 hours. Shout out to my homie, my Seattle friend. I'll be linking their art page in the comments. Shout out Visama, Subtle Smile, and shout out Raw. Thank you so much. The adored one themselves. I will see you this week. I love you, man. Thank you so much for doing this. Say goodbye to the people.
Yeah. Hey. Hey. Thank you guys for showing up. Like seriously, it's great. I mean, if y'all
We'll be back.
if y'all loved it, yeah. If y'all loved so, yeah. Thank you for showing the love. Thank you.
All right. What's the thing you always say? This isn't goodbye.
Goodbye, but not farewell.
Goodbye, but not farewell. We'll see you next time. Enjoy the rest of your evening. We're out.